We have a couple examples for you of how you might want to use or maybe not use pie charts. This data comes from the CDC. It's 2020 U.S. cancer fatalities. We've got a male category, a female category, and the total number of deaths by category: lung cancer, colorectal cancer, pancreatic cancer, etc. If I just take this data here and start to build out a chart, like insert a pie chart, what's going to happen is what you see below. There aren't going to be any labels. What you need to do is ensure that you've highlighted both the labels and the data. The way you do that is you just shift and maybe use your trackpad or mouse. Then you're going to want to press Command or Control. You're going to want to get the label data. The point is, make sure that you get the labels and you get the data that you want to convert into a pie chart. Otherwise, you're going to end up without labels. I will head over to chart, and it defaults for column chart for me, but without too much effort, I am now left with a pie chart, and I can say 2020 U.S. cancer deaths by type per CDC. You can use the eyedropper for changing up colors. I've now highlighted this first, this lung cancer, and pressing the eyedropper, I can just move down here and it automatically changes the color for me. That's something I wanted to show you. I'm going to move this over. You have the link, so you can go right into the Google Sheet yourself, make a copy. Of course, you can always make a copy by just heading over to File and then make a copy, and then you can manipulate it and change it around. This is a decent use for the pie chart. Again, not too many categories. That's a positive. The other thing I want to draw your attention to is this other. We have 40% of people who died of cancer in the United States in 2020 tragically died of lung cancer. Another 15.2 from colorectal cancer, 13.7 from pancreatic, 12.4 from breast, 9.6 from prostate, and 9% for any and every other kind of cancer. There aren't too many categories, and by the time we've included other, we have all the ways that people could have died from cancer in the US in 2020. This is a pretty reasonable use for a pie chart. Let me take you over to an area, and at first blush, it kind of looks like a decent use of a pie chart, but really we should be using some kind of like a column chart or a bar chart, because it can just be confusing to the reader. Forbes has a point system, and I invite you to click on the link. Forbes has these ways of rating or estimating what Netflix shows get the most views. This is for the year 2020. You can imagine there were a lot of kids locked up because of the pandemic, and they're just watching TV. I've got my Forbes point totals. I now have these top 5. I've even included a donut hole in my pie chart, which kind of looks fancy. It's not too hard to do. I've added labels. The problem is, this is just not that great of a data set. Reason is yes, while this is the top 5, we don't have other, and we would imagine that other would be huge for Netflix, right? Like, I'm sure that these features did very well in 2020, but what percentage of all of the Netflix views went to these 5 titles? Maybe, I don't know, 8%, 9%, 10%, but it's not a very big group. And so other would just make up the huge, vast bulk. If you were going to do something, I would just kind of label it top 5 and turn this over into a column chart or a bar chart. Of course, as soon as we do this, it's going to mess up the formatting, and I'm just going to make a copy of it because I don't want to lose the original. Once I do this, change it from a donut chart, and I go over to column chart, we have something that is maybe a little easier for people to read. What were the points and what were the features? When in doubt, don't use a pie chart. When in doubt, use a bar chart, use a column chart. You can convey most of the information that you want. Only use a pie chart when you want to keep it real clean and simple.